Hello everyone, can you hear me? Hi Balls Deep, how you doing? We'll just give a few minutes for people to join in as always, and then we'll get started. Oh, I see somebody from Thailand. Hello from Thailand. Hey Styles, good to see you here. Let me know if you can hear me. Awesome. So I'm not sure if sound quality is good because last time we did have some sound quality issues. It looked like the volume was low. Awesome. So it's great that you can hear me. So why don't we get started? I think we have quite a bit to cover. Just as always, I will start with the overall, which is the stats about Daxe and what's upcoming, and then we'll dive deep into questions. I know there's quite a few people who have questions about the upcoming go live on Polygon Matic. So so yeah, we'll get started. Thank you everybody for joining. I've been shoveling quite a bit of snow lately, so I am tired of shoveling snow. I tell you that, if I was doing it for exercise, then I have more than enough muscles now. We had um, pretty much 1 week of consecutive snow dump, and I'll say that I'm speaking for quite a few Canadians when I say that, we'll be more than happy to have less snow. That's for sure. So for the newcomers, as always, what is Daxe? Think of Daxe as a multi-chain certificate of deposit. What we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a way for people to invest into a secure financial instrument on crypto, but not just on one chain. It has been done before, but on multiple chains. And what we're doing is using some innovative game theory to try and make sure that those who purchase and those who invest in Daxe get to benefit not just from staking, but also from overall price appreciation that we also see as we onboard onto multiple chains. And we're going to get into aspects of how that is beneficial for holders, specifically for stakers, not just from staking, where you get a yield of 20% APR base rate, but also you get benefit from your long stake. You also benefit from the penalties of other stake early on stake. Other early on stake are directly paid to those who stake. And as we onboard onto new chain, those who are stake also benefit by getting airdrops to new chains. But we'll see that in more details. Dax has done. I guess it's the cat is out of the bag now. We've done fairly well since we started. We were hoping for a more gradual price increase, but we've seen significant price spikes as we started on BHC and as we moved on to AVAX. And already the stat that we are most happy about is the the staking stats, which is the percentage of Daxe staked across both chains. So that's more than 50% of Daxe is already staked across both chains. So that's startling. Why? That's circulating Daxe, of course. That's startling. Why? Because that provides a price floor that is not just stable but also rising over time. So as we see more and more people stake, that price floor rises and benefits not just stakers but also holders. So so there's significant interest there. So so as there is less and less Daxe that is liquid, the price increases, and that's just from the staking, let alone from us starting to make more noise out there, from also us starting to do more, marketing and getting onto more chains. Which you've heard me say multiple times that our average stake price floor is going to stay fairly high for a long time, which only bodes well as we go forward. Already, I'm receiving a lot of private messages from Daxe investors who are saying that Daxe has already changed some people's life. I won't point to names, but there's quite a few people who have gotten significant returns from Daxe, and that's great. That's what we're here for. We were not anticipating such significant returns so early, but all the better. The last thing that I'll point to is Dax's performance in a bear market. So you will notice that there's categories of coins that do fairly well in bear market, that hold themselves well in bear market. We hope that Dax continues to hold itself or its price well during bear market, and as we get to Polygon soon, we're going to start seeing some. We hope we're going to start seeing some, again, price increases across all chain. I know people are very excited about Polygon. Polygon is very much so a popular chain, up and coming. Ethereum layer 2. I do think they have a little bit of work to do when it comes to network performance. Sometimes the network is a little bit slow when it comes to confirming or validating the transaction, or having transaction finality. But all in all, it's a great chain, and all in all, it's a chain that excites people. So we're definitely happy to get to Polygon. So that will be on January 12th, and we think that whether or not Pulse Chain is ready by February, we'll see. We've already started the work to have Daxe ready for Solana. So regardless of whether or not Pulse Chain is ready, we'll either pivot to Pulse Chain or to Solana. I think those two will be well served. I've also heard that there is now a DEX available on Cardano ADA, so that's something else that we'll have to look into. I haven't tested it yet. I just heard about it in the news, so that's great. I would like to see more application, more dApps deployed on Cardano before we can start to make a move there. So we have a lot of questions, quite a few questions, in fact. So I'll jump into it. I'll scan the chat just to make sure I'm not missing anything, and please highlight questions that you want me to cover that haven't already been posted in the chat. So yeah, I'll get started. So we got a question on wanting details on marketing plans. So of course, as you know, I'm not very public, but I understand the importance of marketing. That's why we partnered with a marketing firm. So some of you may have seen Jag around. So so he had some things that he needed to take care of a little bit. So he's taking care of that. That being said, we are already starting to reach out to quite a few YouTubers for us to advertise our Polygon Go Live. So we should start to see some of those things coming starting Monday. And there's more down the line around articles that we want to publish, and more more marketing effort that we need to do. So that's an area that we know we're not, particularly, that's not our strong suit, because most of the time that I spend time coding and improving the code that we have and improving the code that we will have on future change. So marketing is something that we always need to improve. But that's great. That's fine. Already with the little bit of marketing that we've been doing, we have 1,000, if not more. I think it's 1,100 holders on each one of those chains. And going forward, we suspect that this is going to accelerate. And in fact, the number of holders that we see is increasing, fairly fast. So marketing plans, there are plans in the works, and we'll do some more work there. So what DEX are we going to select when we go to Polygon? We scanned the DEXs out there. There's really two that meet our criteria. That's QuickSwap and SushiSwap. And QuickSwap seems to be the one that has the most liquidity, is the most trusted. People are the most familiar with it. So we think that that's what we'll go with. Further to that, people are asking whether we will pair with what stablecoin we'll pair with. I think we'll pair with USDC going forward. Again, there's nothing wrong there. I think USDC is more. When I look at the numbers right now, USDT does have the most liquidity. However, USDC seems to have the most institutional backing. I would say that. So less risk. That being said, I don't see USDT going away. So that's something that I may change my mind on, as we go live. But regardless, it will be it will be paired with a stable coin when we go live on QuickSwap. So, and it will be on QuickSwap. So still surrounding the go live, we also get questions around what time we're going to go live. I will not say exactly what time the snapshot will happen, and I will not say exactly what time we will go live. Closer to go live, we will we will deliberate. So of course the go live will happen. Excuse me. The go live will happen on the 12th. So once the 12th comes about, we'll let everybody know. Okay. So what will be? What time will the snapshot be on Tuesday? I think I already addressed that. So look. Let me go back to this. All previous snapshots were taken very close to midnight on the day of the go live, and then we went live, pretty much a few hours after the go live were taken. We might follow the same formula, or we might not. As many of you know, I don't like the gold rush. Again, I'll post it on Twitter when the LP is available and when we went live. Next question. So if the OA does not buy or does not sell, is there any other way it replenishes? So I think there's a little bit of misunderstanding when it comes to the role of the OA. People think that the interest comes out of the OA. It does not. In fact, you mint your own coins or you mint your own Daxe so when you're staked, what happens is if you indeed follow up with the duration of your stake, Daxe is created or minted for you. So that's how Daxe is minted. So at a rate of 20% APR plus long stake. So it doesn't really come from the OA. Associated with this question, we also get questions around does that mean that the OA plays a less and less important role as time goes on because the OA is not staked? The answer is yes, and that's by design. So we want the OA to play a protective role for early investors as we start. But as time goes on, as more and more stakers come aboard, and as Daxe becomes more and more decentralized, we don't see that we don't feel that there's a need for that role anymore. And in fact, um, big holders are the ones that are going to maintain, the viability of Daxe. So, uh, you know, given our calculations, maybe that would be around 10 to 15 years, before significantly large stakes start to really affect how the OA or what the OA has in terms of holding. So that's not something we worry about. But the DAX that you get from staking does not come from the OA. You mint it yourself. So that's where the inflation comes from. So scanning the chat here just to make sure. So USDC is great, awesome. Thank you, Pulsar. So we'll consider that. Looks like that might be hitting some support indeed. So I'm just making sure I'm scanning the questions here. So I'm getting the question of how did I come up with the idea to create Daxe? Well, I've mentioned this before. I have coding experience. I have a lot of artificial intelligence coding experience. You can check my previous AI channel. If you like this kind of stuff. I have a lot of investing experience, and I didn't see something in crypto. I saw a gap in crypto where I wanted a coin that was not only safe but also a coin that I knew did not fall into the category of hype, the pump and dump, but gave me the certainty of appreciating value over time. I don't mind. I don't mind volatility. Volatility is a good thing. In fact, you should take advantage of volatility. I think that's a positive. But volatility is very different from long-term appreciation of an asset, and that's what we're targeting. So I don't really care about the price today. I mainly care about what is the growth curve and what is the price, long term. And there wasn't something like that. Hex is great. Don't get me wrong. People always point to Hex. I think the problem with Hex is when you get in late, the type of return you expect from Hex are not the same, or are sort of get a diminishing yield curve. So we wanted something where, regardless of where you came in, regardless of where you started, purchasing or investing in Daxe, you essentially get the same type of return long term. So yeah, that's what we were targeting. That didn't exist. So hey, it doesn't exist. Let's create it, and why not make it multi-chain? And as we created it multi-chain, we wanted to make sure that there's an interrelationship between the different chains, and that there's benefit for Daxe holders as we get on more and more chain. One thing that I will add here also is we're taking a deliberate and an intentional decision to slightly increase the yield, especially the long yield that you get from Daxe, from staking Daxe, on the chains that are going to be very popular moving forward. And that starts with Polygon. And there's reason behind that. As we get to chains that are more and more popular, we want there to be an X factor for Daxe holders on those chains, and those are going to, of course, benefit the holders of Daxe on less and no chain or less adopted chains such as AVAX. So look out for that. Again, I'll share more details very soon here, but the difference in yield is very minimal in the short term, but in the long term, it is not sizable, but not negligible nonetheless. So, and of course, it will be the same across the popular chains. So that's Polygon, Pulse Chain, Solana, and Cardano, which are the ones that we're targeting going forward. And the order of that may change based on when Pulse Chain gets ready, and when also we finish testing all the code for Solana, which we are knee deep into right now. So just making sure that I am still on. If if you can't hear me properly, or if there is any sound issues, please please let me know. So somebody with an unnamed account is asking, does the launch on the new network Polygon benefit BAC and AVAX? Not directly, but indirectly, as I've mentioned. So we've already seen the launch of AVAX benefiting BSC and vice versa. BSC is also serving as a guiding direction for AVAX, and we anticipate that to continue as we launch on more and more chains. Of course, the logic here is driven from the fact that if you're staked on one network or on one version of DAX, so whether it's ADAX, BDAX, or mDAX going forward, you get allocation for the next chain. And the question that follows is, so we understand how it works for mDAX, which means you need to be staked either in BSC or in AVAX, or so BDAX or AVAX. And the allocation there is split 50-50. So there's 50%, 30 billion DAX up for grabs in BDAX, and 30 billion DAX up for grab in ADAX. And going forward, the total 60 billion ADAX will be shared amongst the chains that will be on. So of course it will be 2020. By the time we get to the next chain, whether it's Solana or Pulse Chain, whatever it ends up being. Have I thought about anti-whale functionality? I have a couple of ideas, some that will bear fruit after this go live. This go live is already set in stone, so we don't want to change too much. So yes, I continuously spend a lot of time thinking about how to benefit the small players. I think we've done a lot. We've done quite a bit, going live on chains that are not only fast but also affordable in terms of transaction cost. Although we applied to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, we're hoping that that gets delayed as long as possible to allow for more small investors to come in. I keep hearing that so and so has recommended Daxe to either their friends or somebody else they know. Keep doing that, because once we go mainstream and once we get known, there is no controlling a big person or big whale coming in and purchasing significant amount of the DAX in the LP. But it is what it is. There are some things you can control, but there are other things we can control, such as what we can do at launch. Question: at some point, is it still advantageous to keep adding DAX to additional chains where it increases the total supply by trillions each time? So great question, and I think that question comes from a little bit of a misunderstanding around the tokenomics of DAX. So I'll address that right now. So every time we launch on a new chain for DAX, we're always launching with 3 trillion DAX. So that's 3 trillion DAX for each chain, and the mechanics and economics of DAX on that chain is are pretty much are the same. Slight differences for the chains that are going to be very popular. So one chain, or the quantity of DAX in one chain does not affect the quantity of DAX in another chain. They exist on different networks until such time that we have a bridge, if we get to it. So traditionally, in crypto, because the smart contract is on one chain, increasing the supply also increases the total amount of tokens within that same chain. So that contributes to what we call extreme inflation or dilution, and that crashes the price. So we don't have the same thing here, because all these pools are different. So you don't have to worry about us, launching on new chain, and about us launching on new chains. It crashes the price for that. In fact, that's not what you've seen. We've seen quite the opposite, in fact. So again, do I have to be staked on all three chains for when we go to Pulse chain in February? No, you don't. You can pick the chain that you like the best, where you're most comfortable. And again, don't forget, you're staking in order for you to protect yourself from selling early and benefit from long-term price appreciation. One should not lose sight of that objective. I think a lot of people are still in the mode of pump and dump. The crypto culture has done too much harm when it comes to investing. You need to switch your perspective from that of being a speculator to that of being an investor. And an investor only puts his or her money into an asset that they, number one, understand, and number two, believe in. So I would encourage you to do that, as opposed to betting. There's nothing wrong with betting as long as you understand the risk reward. And I encourage you to calculate the probability of you, succeeding in your investment if you put your money in a pump and dump coin. Again, it's not for me to say. Some people get lucky. Most will not get lucky. So do your own research and try to see which one works best for you. At the dates on Pulse chain, February 12th and Solana, March 12th fixed? No, they're not fixed. As I said before, they're highly dependent on Pulse chain. I know Pulse chain is a chain that excites a lot because it's new, and I think it is going to allow for a lot of development and innovation that was priced out because of Ethereum high transaction fees and slow network. So we're all looking forward to that. But we've all heard that probably from Richard Hart, that probably that it will be sorry about that. If you hear some barking, that's my dog going crazy. We got a puppy over Christmas. She's completely lunatic, but she's a fun one, anyways. So where was I? Pulse chain go live. So yeah, there's no certainty on the Pulse chain go live, but there is certainty on. Sorry for the dog barking there. There is certainty on Solana. There is certainty on VLX. There's certainty on Phantom. There's plenty of networks that are very vibrant and have a lot of growth to come. It's interesting. I encourage you all to go on a few sites and check the total value locked for up and coming network. It's very interesting to see which ones actually are the ones that are up and coming, because I think it's a good metric to take into account. So Scanning the questions here. I think I've covered quite a few questions. I'm scanning the chat to see if there's any other questions that I missed. I'm getting another question here from an unknown account. Can you confirm the AVAX Daxe token address for any airdrop? Okay, so I'm not sure I quite get the question, but I'm going to answer the best I can. The token address for AVAX is the same for ADAX is the same as the token address for BDAX. They happen to be the same. So if you go in the Telegram chat and you type /contract, you will get the token address, or just ask, and I think somebody will point you to the right token address. If you're asking for the token address for an airdrop, I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding. What happens is once you're staked, we will scan both networks. That's AVAX and BSC for any holders or stakers of Daxe. And once we've scanned those, we will compute the scores. The staking scores are determined by the amount you staked multiplied by the duration, and that determines your staking score. And your staking score will be proportional to how many DAX you get when we actually launch on Polygon. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit. So, and the airdrops are done directly to your wallet. There's nothing you need to do once you're staked. There's nothing else you need to do. It will be automatically dropped on the post-chain network to your corresponding wallet address. So, and if you need help figuring that out, just come on the Telegram chat. People will be more than happy to help you. Scanning here. How do we know we benefited from airdrops? I think I've covered that already. So yeah. Again, so I'll cover again how you can get allocation, and if there are no other questions, I think this will be a short live stream. So for everyone's clarity, we're going live on the 12th. No specific date yet, but when you look at history and what dates or what times we've gone live, we've traditionally done the snapshot right around midnight of the go live date, and then we've gone live a few hours after that. We'll try to stick to that model, but there's no guarantee. If you're staked, you don't care. Whenever the snapshot happens, the snapshot happens. So it's not of great importance. I think what's of importance for people to know, because people want to buy at the lowest price, is when the LP will be announced. I will announce it on Twitter first, and then I will announce it on the Telegram chat. I think that covers it. And again, how do you get the allocation? You should either be staked in ADAX or in BDAX or DAX. That's DAX on AVAX or DAX on BSC. So CUN is asking, are there any additional features or products, e.g. stablecoin plan for the DAX ecosystem? No, not yet. Maybe I'm too much of a programmer, but I like the separation of concerns. Look, Daxe has enough already going for it. It's already hard enough for most to wrap their mind around Daxe. I want something that investors can come in and evaluate within a certain amount of time without having to spend too much time thinking about additional constraints or derivatives that actually may or may not influence the price. In terms of additional functionality or value, once we're done with Daxe, and once we're comfortable and we deployed on enough chain, maybe I will turn my attention to some other projects. But that's way down the line. There's more than enough work for us to do right now at this time, and a lot more, a lot of marketing efforts also, for us to do. So yeah. So seeing no additional questions, I'll take the opportunity for those who weren't here to wish everybody again a happy 2022. The market is crashing right now. That's the crypto market. I think it's slowly recovering a little bit, but always keep the important things in mind. Always keep the long term in mind. One of the best mentors I had investment wise is Warren Buffett. Funny enough, Warren Buffett often recommends that you always keep part of your assets or part of your investment pool liquid for times like these, right? When things are oversold, you will find that in the long term, you multiply your return by always buying when things are cheap. I'll just throw it out there. You can either learn it through pain or learn it through other people's experience. But I think that's wise. So try to avoid jumping 100% into something all in. Is often means that you're locked in at that price. Dollar cost average if you can, or keep some asset liquid. That's a great question. PulseX sacrifice is past $500 million. Do I think it's overvalued? I've spoken enough about this. I don't want to taint the success of PulseX. I think two things. I think both Pulse Chain and PulseX, from a technology standpoint, will be extremely successful, and that's great because those will allow innovation in the space that we haven't necessarily seen, and adoption in the space that we need. That being said, like I said before, if you want to know how much X you can realistically expect from a sacrifice, take the upper bound of the expected value of that asset, maybe 3 months down the road, whether it's PulseX or Pulse Chain, the upper bound of that expected value. And then you divide it by the amount that was sacrificed. And I'll leave it at that. Then, you do the math and then you try to figure out, how many X you think you could get. Some people will get more, those who sell early or those who sell at the right time, I should say that. And some people will get less. There's no magic to it because there's only finite amount of US dollars of liquidity in the world. So for me, what interests me the most is those technologies and the wave of innovation and adoption they're going to bring for crypto. I think that's more important than the number of X. People invest in order to get money, but if you do your work well as an investor, you should be able to see through the veil of flashy sacrifice phases. I should say that. And one last thing. YouTubers are YouTubers. Their job is to grab your attention because that's how they get money and that's how they get their returns. Keep that in mind. What do you think somebody whose mode of operation is attention will do? Which one sells more? 10x or 10,000x? Which one grabs more attention? That being said, there's a few YouTubers out there that are very honest about, what to expect. And some even actually sandbag. I prefer those. So go ahead, seek them out. And I think, honesty is in short supply, when it comes to crypto. Often people throw around, quite a few high promises. I don't like that. So yeah, try to stay grounded. But I think, you know, if you sacrifice, I think you do well. If not, buy it when it launches. I think you do well too. So Coffee Beach is asking the question: if I've staked 100 million ADAX and 100 million BDAX, will I get more mDAXE airdrop if I only staked 100 million on BDAX? That depends on the total amount staked in ADAX and the total amount staked on BDAX. So if you staked equal amount on both chains, and for an equal duration, then your staking score will be dependent on the total staking score, on those chains. So so I hope that answers your question. So it depends on what other people are doing. Hexos is saying that CUN has an interesting name. Is BR made mandatory in the future to stake on all chain before being airdrop? I'm not sure I understand that question, so I'll pass. Is there any benefit in providing liquidity for any DAX pairs on any of the chain? I mentioned before that we will be paired with USDC most probably when we go to Polygon. I'm not sure if that addresses your question. I would encourage you to, when you ask your questions, try to be more, because there's a lot of concepts in crypto. So sometimes, just throwing terms around may speak to one thing versus another. So unless I'm missing things here, I would like to be able to answer the question, but sometimes I think they might not be well formulated. So don't hesitate to to rephrase, and I'll catch on if I missed it or misunderstood. So just checking here as we're slowly getting to the top of the hour. I don't want this to last too long. Yeah. But if there are no more questions, to all of you, really happy to have you all on board. Looking forward to the Polygon launch. Really looking forward to it, in fact. And yeah, I'll do another live stream, shortly after the go live. And yeah, sorry, I was just scanning the chat there to see if there wasn't anything I missed. Yeah, thanks again to everyone. Sorry for the background noise, and talk to you in the Telegram chat or on Twitter. Okay, you guys rock. Okay, take care.